Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at sources you shared, a call to rest, and talking about Jesus. Really powerful stuff. They both seem to tap into this deep human thing, right? This longing for some calm in a world that's just constantly demanding our attention. So our mission today is to really pull out the key insights from these specific texts, see if we can map out a way to find that shelter amid all the noise. Okay, let's dive in.
Yeah, it's striking, isn't it? Because these texts, they don't just float an idea, they sort of diagnose something fundamental about us. That universal search for peace, for just being present, instead of being constantly yanked around by, well, everything else. And they really pinpoint how we look for that peace in places that can't provide it.
That's a great point. The sources really paint that contrast so clearly. They call the world noisy, restless, and demanding. It feels like that, doesn't it? Always crying out for our attention, filling our heads with worries about money or success, reputation, just being busy all the time. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The texts say these distractions could be our phones, endless lists, even our goals they promise joy.
But they leave you empty.
Exactly. Empty. They offer peace, but all you get is more restlessness.
And it's key that the sources clarify, these things aren't necessarily bad in themselves. Money isn't evil, ambition isn't evil. But when they grab hold of your focus, when they become the main thing, that's when they rob us of the stillness we need. They just scatter our energy, dissipate our focus, and the soul ends up feeling, well, weary and
Being
dissatisfied.
dissatisfied.
Because, as the text put it, it was created for something greater. Anything less just doesn't cut it. It leaves you searching. It's about where you're really looking for that deep satisfaction.
Okay, so if the world offers that kind of dead end, what's the alternative these sources are pointing to? They talk about the shelter of his arms, the sweetness of his presence, very evocative language. I really like how they use images like wings and strong arms for God's protection. There's that quote from Psalm 91, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge."
Right. That image of a mother bird shielding her young.
Yeah, so powerful. But what does that shelter actually feel like or provide, practically in a world that often feels pretty unsafe?
Well, the sources insist this isn't just like pretty poetry. It's presented as the reality of God's love, its actual protective nature. They say abiding in Jesus isn't just believing certain facts about him. It's about living in this constant active fellowship.
Active fellowship. Yeah.
Yeah, bringing him into,
Yeah.
well, everything. Our thoughts, our choices, the daily grind. It's not another task on the list. It's more like a fundamental shift in perspective.
A reframing.
Exactly. Like the text might suggest just pausing for a second before a decision or when you feel stressed and consciously turning your focus back to that presence. It sort of changes the moment, makes the ordinary feel different. And the results, they describe this joy that isn't dependent on circumstances, a peace that surpasses understanding, and a love that casts out fear. It's shown as this permanent home for the soul, not just a quick fix.
Wow. Okay, so bringing this right down to the listener, what does this mean for you? These sources are asking pretty directly, what is your soul clinging to today? Are you feeling weighed down by all those distractions, or are you finding refuge, like hidden under his wings?
Yeah.
It's a real challenge, I think, because the call isn't to just try harder, to strive more in your own strength.
No, it's the opposite.
Right, it's to rest deeply in his.
And that resting deeply, it's not passive. It's described as a very active choice. It involves consciously deciding to, well, strip away the noise of this world, as one source puts it so beautifully, letting yourself be drawn into the quiet of his love.
Okay, active resting. How does that look day to day?
Well, imagine, maybe, instead of instinctively grabbing your phone when you feel that restlessness creep in, you just pause. You deliberately reorient your focus inward towards that quiet presence. Or maybe when you're facing something tough, instead of just letting anxiety take over, you actively choose to bring that sense of his presence into your thinking about it, letting it guide you. It's presented as a completely different way of being, a chosen home for your soul.
That is. Yeah, that's a truly profound invitation to find your actual home, find real rest.
It really is. So maybe the thing to ponder is this. In a world that's always shouting for your attention, what would it genuinely mean for you to find, moment by moment, that kind of sweetness and peace, the kind the world just cannot imitate? And how could you practically start cultivating that presence in your own daily life, turning those ordinary moments into something else? Something to think about.